The soldier who had just finished his petrol hurried toward the fire, holding out his embroidered sleeves to the heat. He warmed himself for a moment, then muttered through chattering teeth, "Damn, it's a brutal winter."
The soldier beside him, his beard stiff with frost, glanced toward the commander's gathering place.
"Yeah, bastards. They've set up a big tent over there. Looks like they're having a feast, eating hot meals, and for us, they throw scraps."
He tore into a half-baked piece of bread with anger.
He chewed with difficulty and forced it down. His eyes climbed to the black sky, to the dancing flakes that caught the firelight as they fell. The cold wind had robbed every trace of warmth from his body. War kept whispering death into his ears. Maybe today, maybe bite down, one way or another. He had been brought here to die. His breath smelled of exhaustion. Even his sword refused to leave its sheath. Either he lacked the strength to draw it, or it had frozen inside. What he didn't expect was that only a few hours later, in the dim wolf light of that same night, another attack would come. Flaming arrows hissed overhead and fell sporadically into the bodies of the soldiers. After a nightmarish battle, one that felt like the promised hell of the holy scriptures made manifest on the earth, the sun slowly rose, its pale light sliding across the faded walls. A massive column of smoke spiraled upward from the ground, burned and crushed the corpses littered the field. Another failed attack, another retreat. The cold and wind had raped tents from the ground. Spearheads were dull, bows cracked, swords eaten with rust. Half-ruined towers behind the walls shimmered under the morning sun.
When they returned to the camp, a group of commanders in dark clothing gathered around a dying fire. One of them blew warmth into his hands and said, "It's no use. Those bastards won't stop." Another commander, staring at the weary, broken soldiers, muttered reluctantly, "I don't understand what his goal is with this damned slaughter. Where is he while we are dying out here? He was supposed to arrive weeks ago. Without reinforcements, how the hell are we supposed to survive this?"
One commander said,
"We have to finish it as soon as we can." The others nodded in agreement. An old man with a pipe approached them. His face was hidden beneath a rough, filthy cloth. In a hoarse voice, he said, "There's not much left. Sir, the men are exhausted. Supplies are nearly gone. But if we turn back tonight, we won't risk another ambush. The commanders all agreed, muttering that this war was madness. But a young commander, who had been silently listening, finally said, "But the king forbids retreat." The old man let out a thin laugh. "Then we are condemned. There's no way home." The commander nodded, sarcasm in his tone. "It's always the same. For a soldier, home is the battlefield." He said this and walked away, while everyone waited for order to retreat. Suddenly a messenger emerged from a narrow path and entered the great tent. Hours later, the soldiers once again took formation. One last arrow in the dark. The siege towers were armed once more, and the warm breath of the soldiers drifted into the still air of dawn. For the final time, swords loosened in their sheaths. Spears rose toward the sky. At the commander's shout, the half-dead army charged the walls. Arrows loosed from the bow, pierced from the chest. Dropping them one by one, the siege towers caught fire before reaching the walls and collapsed into ash. Everyone could see the war was hopeless, yet none of them stopped. Nearly half the army had been crushed when a colossal horn sounded. After weeks, the king finally rode onto the battlefield with a fresh army. The old man wiped blood and grime from his face and roared, "For the king!"